episode of the Learn Recruiter podcast. I'm your host, Brett Clemenson, and if you're a recruiter out on your own or just lacking general advice or mentorship, you've come to the right place. Our episodes are designed to give you the motivation, the strategies, and the support you need to become the very best Learn Recruiter. So join us, grab a cup of coffee, let's take your desk to another level. Now, today is a great episode for anyone who always feels under the weather, under the pump, under pressure, from their to-do list. So our to-do list is just our everything that needs to get done thing, and I'm betting you now it feels like it's a forever thing. The issue I have with to-do lists a lot of the time is people aren't aware enough of what is activities that they want to get done for their strategy, what are their activities that are going to help them generate their pipeline, and what are those activities on that to-do list which are reactive, i.e. emails have come in, i.e. other people's agendas, phone calls have come in, i.e. other people's agendas, applications have come in, i.e. other people's agendas, all part of what we have to do. But when you really see it for what it is someone else's agenda, and you get through an entire day of to-do list items and you don't actually get to do any generation to fill the top of your funnel, to fill your pipeline. If you don't get that generation stuff, that's why we feel pressure and stress in the day, at the end of the day, because we haven't actually done the work we wanted to get done. So first of all, when you know what you want to get done in a day, you got to do it first, because then the rest of the day is going to kick you on the side and take your attention. But this episode is about pulling. What we're going to do is we're going to take your to-do list, we're going to pull it apart, we're going to keep your to-do list, put that over to the side. It's going to take, that's nothing. What we're going to create is a really robust to-do list for your generation, for your pipeline, that's going to sit on your desk, and you're going to allocate 3 hours a day to just those activities there. And what we're going to hopefully have, if we allocate that time now, we can do it really quickly, because I can take you about 25 minutes, but it'll take me about 5 minutes. You can press pause in between. You're going to have that on your desk, and you're not going to have to think about there's no strategy involved. We're going to do the strategy now, so that when that stuff comes in, you've got at least a week or two worth of activity sitting on your desk, so that every time that 9 o'clock or whatever time you set it for, that 3 hour block of generation, you go, boom, next. What am I doing next? What am I doing next? And I'm going to tell you that you're going to go out at blistering pace. You're going to have absolute crazy generation. And you're going to look at your pipeline and go, oh my God, what have I achieved here? So let's just start, okay? Get a blank piece of paper, pull up a Word doc, and let's freaking go. And I say Word doc because if you write this thing down, I'm going to get you to move things around, copy and paste. So get a Word doc. If you have to pause it at any point, do it. I'm just going to keep going. So the first thing we want to have a quick look at, and we're going to dig into this, is your current pipeline. So anyone that's got an offer out that's impending, anyone in second interview, anyone in first interview, okay? Or any candidates out that you're like, I'm totally going to get an interview for that person. I want to know, or you want to know, what your pipeline looks like, okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to start with the candidates. So you got Mary. Mary's on interview with this company. You've got John. John's on interview with this company, and this company. You've got Susie. Susie's on interview with this company. I want you to list those things just in name and then dot points underneath. Once you've done that, okay, that's your current pipeline. You kind of know where it's at. The first thing we're going to do is look at those candidates who are on interview, and we're going to say, how can we strengthen this? Okay, how can we strengthen this? We all know that you have an 86% chance of placing somebody. And this is a fact that Bullhorn gave us, so I'm going to hold them to that fact. But there is an 86% chance of placing someone who has 3 interviews. So we call them in our office 86%ers. What I want you to do now is look at every candidate that does not have 3 interviews. So you've got a candidate that's on second interview with 1 company. We need to find 2 more companies that are going to interview this person. Who can you brainstorm right now that you could take that candidate to find them another interview and a third interview, a second interview and a third interview? And I want you to do this with every single candidate you have. Find them, fill in the gaps. Like, this is now going to start your generation activity. I've got to canvas this person to XYZ companies because I want to get 2 more interviews. And it's always easier to get interviews for candidates that are on interview because A, a client wants them, B, you can use that as pressure with the other clients. So let's go through that activity. Take your candidates. Anyone that's on 1 interview or 2 interviews, where are we going to find the 2 and the 3? We want to get every single candidate on your board in your pipeline on 3 interviews. If you can do that exercise alone, I'm telling you now, that's the most high value, profit making, deal securing activity you can possibly do today. That is without a doubt. And the second one you can do, which is pretty much in the same field. We're going to do the exact same exercise we just did. What's on your pipeline right now? And we're going to flip it. Okay, so we're going to go, let's just say you got Mary on interview with Samsung. We're going to flip it. Samsung is interviewing Mary. Samsung now needs to see a Mary and 2 more candidates. We now need to find 2 more candidates for Samsung. You're creating a bit of a pile here. If you're lucky, you're going to make 9 placements. I doubt it, but you get my point. So now what we're going to do is in your pipeline, get every single company that's written down under those candidates and turn them into their own heading. And I want you to put 3 bullet points underneath. And who's interviewing with those companies? Mary. No, I've got 2 more people to find there. Nesquik are hiring a chocolate manufacturer. We've only got 1 person that they're interviewing. We need to find 2 more people for Nesquik today. Those 2 items, making sure that your candidates have 3 companies they're interviewing with, and making sure your clients have 3 candidates that they are interviewing with. Those 2 activities alone will make you more money than anything else I've ever said on a podcast, than anything else anyone will ever train you as a recruitment trainer, than anything else your manager's ever told you. Those 2 activities are the difference between making a deal and 5. And it's very little freaking work. It's safe work. It's fun work. It's strategic work. It's focused work. It's perfect work. This is your number 1 thing to do. Okay? Now, once we've done that, once we're going to park that and pause if you need to fill all that stuff out, we are going to now look at actually, creating future pipeline, right? So we've got to keep filling the funnel. We've got to keep bringing that stuff in. So what I want you to do now is write down all of your A-grade specs that you want to work. So if you're in a good market, you're going to have a lot of specs. So you've got to come up with a metric of how do you judge a good spec or a potentially good spec. Is it because it's a client? Is it because it's a particular skill set? You go, I can find that. Like we want to find the gold specs. What we want to try and avoid are those job specs that we write them down because maybe I haven't got a lot of work on. You go, there's a job there, I may as well hunt that one. But the reality is it's a shit brief. It's a shit technical thing that they're looking for. There's no one around for it. The company's crap. Like, you're wasting your energy and your time. I just want to see the gold. You only need 4 or 5 here. But if you've got 20, even better, right? So what we're going to do now, hit pause, write down all of your A-grade specs that you're going to work this month or this quarter, okay? Once you've done that, I actually want you to put them in order of how you're going to approach them because you can only hit 1 at a time. Okay, I want you to go, this is the first one I'm going to hit. This time pressure or it's a retainer or whatever. Put them in order of how you're going to tackle them. The last one being, I may not even get to it. You need to be okay with that. But what's the first one we're going to hit? Okay, so we're going to put them in order so we don't have to think about it once we've done a project. How many times do you do a project and go, what's next? Let me think about that. We don't want any of that. We want to have a really clean running order for all of these hot specs that you've got, okay? And now what I want you to do, I'm going to give you some ideas, but I want you to do a few things immediately on your top 5. So immediate things you're going to do in your top 5 is 1, now you've got a list of all your roles. I want you to create, if you've got the budget, an ad on LinkedIn that is a list ad. Dot point of all the jobs you have. Now, and this is one where you go really, like, make it as big and meaty, but make yourself look like you've got all the jobs. Post it on LinkedIn. Then there is a feature on LinkedIn where you share the job or you post the job and you can star as a featured post. If you star it as a featured post, whenever anyone goes and looks at your profile on LinkedIn, they will see your featured post. And lo and behold, 22 jobs across XYZ skill set. That's what they're going to see. So if you're emailing people, you're commenting on people, and they start looking at your profile because they want to know who you are, there's a real stamp of authority in your market going, this guy's got so many jobs, okay? That's tip number 1. Now you've done the work. This is going to take you 10 minutes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do like an action list for every single spec. So just write this down once. This is what you're going to do for every single job moving forward, right? So the first thing we want to actually do is ask the question, do I need to meet the client to strengthen this brief? Am I happy with the brief I have? Do I need to schedule a time to go on Teams or go and meet them face-to-face or jump on a call and actually just ask those questions? If we think, we got the title, we kind of know the company, whatever. No, go and have a 10, 15-minute chat with the client, get all the information you need, the salary information, who's it reporting to, But the point here is not just to get the best brief. It's to broaden it as far as you can. You want that lane to be as wide as bloody possible so that it makes your job easier to find the right person. Okay? Too often clients go, this is what I want. The reality is they end up hiring this, but you weren't aware of that because you did not push the scope out. Let's push the scope out. Do we need to do that? Have you asked for a retainer? If that's something you do, I think you need to ask that question. Am I doing this retained or am I doing this with a more risky approach? Once you're happy with the scoping, you've got the brief, you've broadened it out, yes, I can take people from overseas. No, we can't do visas, whatever. You've got to do these things very, very quickly. We're going to write ads, okay? We're going to write an ad and get it up. And you're going to do that for the top 5 things. You're going to get the briefs and get the ads up ASAP because they're going to be working for you in the background. You've heard me say this before. Working in the background whilst you're doing other things, okay? So we're going to get the ads up. The moment you've written the ad, you write the email, like in the same file. Ads written, cool. Copy paste, here's my LinkedIn email script because your brain's in state. You're there. It's the easiest time. You're going to lose no time in building that email there. If you stop, go have a coffee, go talk, go do some other activity, wait a day or two, come back into the emails, you got to start that thinking process again. You'll lose a lot of time. Add emails. And then we're going to LinkedIn post every role when we're working it. So you've now just got the ad up, the emails are ready, do a post. Hey, looking for this. I'm going to be reaching out to my networks. Reach out to me if I miss you. Boom. And that happens very quickly. You've got to do that at the beginning of every brief. We know this. Then the next thing we're going to do in our action list is we're going to do our LinkedIn emailing. We're going to do our projects on our CRM. So we use Bullhorn. So going through Bullhorn, going through your database, who do we know? At that point, we can start picking up the calls, right? Ads out, posts up, emails out, all working for you. Now we can hit the phones. We need all the nets out whilst we're on the phones. Otherwise, you're doing this and there's nothing else catching it and you've got one shot. I want 100 shots. I've said this to ad nauseum, okay? Then what we're going to do is we're going to, once we've done the search, we've done all that, if we're happy with our results, great. If we're not, we need to go back and do a second, third level search on LinkedIn. So if you don't know what that is, it's essentially going back into the search, blocking out the project that you've already created and looking at it from different angles, different pathways, different keywordings, different captions. You'll always find more people. Even go as far as jumping on someone else's account to see what they see and you don't see, because it does go on connections. Jump on the back end of Seek. Let's do a Seek back end deep dive. As I said before, our goal is to get 3 candidates for every single job brief we get. So do not stop until you get 3 people per job. And then just ask yourself, what else can I do? Is there anything else I can do? Can I arc a cartel member? Can I twilight my sourcing before I move on? That's kind of it. So add your own in. If there's other steps to the process that I've missed, these are the main ones. We want to apply this step-by-step approach to every single job you've got in that list, okay? And then we're going to do the exact same thing with candidates. And when I say exact, we're going to go now and have a quick look at what are the candidates we've got that are new that we need to work. So we probably only got a handful of them. When you put them in order of how am I working them? Okay, I've got to canvass this person today and I'm going to canvass those 2 people tomorrow. You want to get candidates out and up ASAP within 24 hours. But if you've got to prioritize them, do it. And again, we're going to full canvass them. We're going to broadcast them on LinkedIn. And also you can be speaking to these candidates to re-engineer finding roles. So we want to get on the phone and talk to them. Can we pull roles out of them? Again, the goal is 3 interviews for these candidates. And that kind of, in my opinion, probably happens. It's up to you. Depends on the urgency of those candidates, but you work out where they go. Do they go above hunting for roles or below? My view is they're stock. You should get them out. But if your market isn't that sort of market, then you do you. That's it, guys. Then you just got to ask yourself, I have a plan of attack. I have my current pipeline, all the gaps for the 86%ers there. You've got workload to do there. I would start with the current pipeline. Then my second tier is what A-grade specs do I have, and here are my steps to attack those roles. And then the third thing is what candidates do I need to get out to market and what do I need to do to get them 3 interviews. If at the end of that you ask yourself, is this plan vague? And your answer is it's still vague. Yes, it's vague. Keep refining the plan. If, however, you get to the end and go, that is so concise. I know exactly what I need to do there. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go to the next step there. I'm going to go to the next step. If it is clear, crystal clear to you, then great. You have a plan. You print it out. You put it on your desk. Okay, you put it on your desk, and you now go to your calendar, and you find 3-hour chunk, not sporadically. You find a 3-hour chunk that you will allocate to this generation list on your desk every single day. My recommendation is to do it ASAP in the morning, because if the worst case happens, you do that and nothing else happens today, guess what? Your pipeline's filling up and you focus on the right things. Now you can go to your to-do list. You can react to everyone else's agendas. You can go and react to your emails, react to the calls, react to your boss, react to your colleague. You can now work for them. But for 3 hours a day, ideally in the morning, you work for you. You generate shit for your pipeline. You strengthen the work that's already in your pipeline, and you're going to make money. That's all I have time for you today. Like, share, subscribe. It really helps us grow. As always, have an amazing day, and may all your deals come true.